went Monday, August 19th, already the 19th, 2024. We're here to review the changes the clerk has made per the BOCC over the last couple of weeks with budget workshops. And so, Peggy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, we're on the clerk's budget, and there was an increase of $4,000, and that is 482.
Professional services.
That was me. And we have the assessors budget. And there was a decrease on 440, 500. And then there was a increase of 416.
Your workers' comp.
Oh, that workers' comp. That was, Timmy had that on her payroll. That's so it was done. And there was a question mark because it looked like it was kind of high, and it was. And I don't think there was anything on the treasurer. Commissioners, nothing. And 482, professional services for the coroner. And we increased it from 5 to 6. And we are still kind of working on the prosecutors, trying to narrow down their line items regarding the STOP grant. There was a victim coordinator that they had us put on, and we're trying to locate that to which individual in order to get the things right. And then Jeff was looking into.
I was looking into the STOP grant, how they funded it, how they funded the board position that they have.
So we're still kind of.
That was, they were reducing the hourly to 40 to 30, and then they took that and put it into the, so they'll be a part-time.
So we're still trying to narrow that one down.
Yeah. So I haven't done the math on it, so I'll get that.
Okay.
When do you have to advertise?
We're going to advertise tomorrow. We're going, that will, with these changes, with your guys' approval, we're going to, and I'll take, that's a little later on, but we'll go in high on the paper if how you guys can. There were several decisions that I didn't get back. It was on the civil and that type of stuff from the, you were going to get that back to me, and I didn't have that.
Oh, I thought that's because we needed all the commissioners to make those decisions.
Well, projection would have. So that's okay. So that's why I thought we'd just go in high in the paper and tell you guys kind of. I know this is brand new for everyone. And so once we get everything tied down, it's better to go high in the paper, and that way we can reduce at that point, because that gives you a little more time.
That's what we did last year.
Well, I've always gone in high in the paper, so that gives you guys more time to really look at everything, think things through, and make your decisions on your levies. So at that point, of course, 8 report records, they just had that longevity where we moved Gail. Building and grounds. And we took out that capital expenditure, that was 1591, and we moved that with the journal entry.
The wages on that project?
And the wages, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wages, all of it was moved
Okay.
to.
So it makes it look a little better than.
It affects your cash,
Mhm.
and it will reduce your wages. Yes. Disaster services. We removed the 75,000 off of the truck,
Yep.
and then we put back hours to 20 hours for Dan on disaster services.
Mm-hmm.
So. Election or was
So,
it?
that's changed on this sheet?
On for what?
So we put it back to,
Yeah, with his wages.
okay,
Yes.
we could put it back because we're taking half out of
Lindsay?
Planning and
planning
zoning.
and zoning and half out of this one like we did.
But this still says 56,000.
Yeah.
So that needs to be split in half on, I didn't know it was changing to half,
Oh, okay.
so I can
Okay.
split that. It'll just be half of what your total is there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
For 28, 70.
And we increased 300 to postage on indigent, 117. And yeah, the more I look at this indigent, I would take out that 1750 for office equipment.
I
That
haven't found indigent yet.
117.
No.
You got it?
Goes from 116 to 118.
Should have printed it.
Oh, there it is in the back. Might be a lot like that. No, that's probably older than that.
Oh,
16?
Well, that's the old number. Yeah. Okay. And it's 117 in the fund. We brought it into current expense. And the computer must not have.
Skipped it.
It must have.
Yeah. Sometimes I notice when we create funds, I'd have to go back into the module and
hit another button.
click it
Sorry.
so it'll print. I don't know why it does it, but it's computer arts, so we never have answers for why it does what it does.
Right. But anyway, there was 1,700 in office equipment type, and I won't need that because you use it's doubled it's within the court systems. I've got Anne Marie doing that,
Huh.
so she would be
And-
using her courts.
On indigent, we're
So minus 1,700?
Yes,
And that's for office supplies, right?
we don't do any medical under the indigent now, do we?
Mhm.
Okay.
just mainly burial. We do have for rent and
And
groceries,
utilities, food vouchers.
but that line item, it used to be to help out people with the rent. You can't anymore because it's always $1,700, and
Rent was
yeah,
rent, not a whole house.
so it has food, rent, fuel, and
Yes.
we still help provide some fuel and some food for people, but the rent anymore is just, it would break us.
Yeah.
With the $1,500 rent.
And people are
Yeah.
supposed to live out there on it.
There's just nothing you can do. And it's under equipment, 1,750, Jeff. 806. But I would take that one out because you
You're
really.
taking it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
County general is 118. there was your Benoit soil.
Yes.
Mhm.
I found that.
Okay.
We paid $1,000 this year on that. Just kind of so you knew that.
But previously we were at the 750.
$750.
Okay.
But it looks like it's been 1,000, Tracy. And then I put here,
So we have Kootenai and Benoit
right.
that we've been paying.
Mhm. And I, like I said, they used to come up and give you the commissioners' reports every year and what projects they would start throughout the year. And apparently they're not doing that anymore.
Not Benoit, I don't believe.
Yeah,
No.
they
Kootenai has, but
yeah,
So my question to you guys, since you paid him 1,000 this year, did you still want to just stick to the 750? It's just your guys' choice here, so I wasn't sure.
I would prefer to stick with 750 just because we haven't heard from them. We don't even know what projects they're working on.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
I just okay. Then on buildings, you had $90,000 sitting in there for the City of Kellogg building permits.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't address that.
Oh.
So with that planning and zoning type, or you added that position and stuff, my assumption, and this is just an assumption, I'm not sure if you wanted to take that 90,000 out. I did, and put 5 in there because I thought there might be something with the crossover.
Yeah, to catch up.
Well, I wasn't sure if there might be some building work in progress or something, so I left 5 in there and took out 85,000 out of county general. But that was just an assumption because I kind of talked to two of you individually, and so I thought, well,
Yeah, I think that would be fine. We might. That's just for permits that are hanging out there after the end of the year that they make.
yeah, because I don't know if that's work in progress, how
Yeah,
building
sure.
permits, do they stage them? And
Yeah,
I was not sure how that worked.
it wouldn't hurt to leave 5
Yeah.
just in case.
Well,
But the rest of it, yeah, we're going to retain that.
So do you want 2 line items on that soil conservation?
yeah.
Okay, to
That
separate the
keep it
Kootenai and
separate,
Benoit.
so that way the
Okay.
BOCC can see what's paid every year.
Yeah.
And then track it if they come in and visit with them.
Okay, that we got it out of the other fund, so
Right.
we're all in one place
They're
now.
all in one place.
Good.
Then on county general, that miscellaneous, Dave, that was engraving. That was paid out of that for a plaque for the Christmas contest that they have going around between.
It's a traveling plaque within the county.
Oh, yeah.
If it was $12 and something,
Yes.
and
So I didn't know if you wanted me to, it really isn't a supply, but.
rather than have that one tiny expense in
Expense.
miscellaneous, we moved it up to office supplies.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And then just take the line item out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like miscellaneous.
Well, I can see why they put it to miscellaneous, because it really
Didn't fit anywhere.
Yeah, that was and then this other problem that we have in county general is the ink cartridge and post-space mailing equipment. Looking through the last 3 years off of this one, this has been all over the place. The good thing, it belongs in county general.
Mhm.
It just needs classification and more up to date, but it's been all over the place.
So
it's the ink
postage?
cartridge for that postage.
It's ink cartridges, post labels, shipping and handling.
And sometimes it just, you want postage, just under postage though, you don't want the
Just have
supplies,
postage
right?
machine
Right.
maintenance.
And then we have our,
Put postage machine maintenance on there.
That's what I'm gonna, yeah.
okay,
That'll work.
But that's why it's all over the place.
and then we have our rental in a separate line item
Yeah.
too, to track, but
Right. The good thing, it's in the right fund. expense was.
So just add another one.
Yes. Okay. And again, here's your planning and zoning.
Yeah, they're still printing the jail and sheriff under those, aren't they?
Hmm?
Oh, I noticed the jail and sheriff old lines print.
Well, that's, like I said, you can't,
I know.
computer arts.
Won't even attempt to explain it.
Yeah. Well, there was, 3,000 fuel that was added,
The new inspector position.
right. And we had $900 in ads. $1,000 on 539. Postage was up to 15. 553 safety equipment. 555 training was 1,000. Refund fees was $200. And what that is, I had Dan explain that to me. Apparently they collect funds for permits and that type of stuff. Well, sometimes they don't, they estimate them and then they don't use them all. So he has to have a line item to return the money.
Mm.
So that's why that is there. Because I did not know that either. That's kind of weird. But it makes sense.
So that'd just be a wash, wouldn't it?
It is, but yeah,
So it's gonna be an
Income
negative
versus-
disbursement.
it's income, well, you can't get an income account
Yeah,
when you make a
okay,
check. So it's just the income sitting up here versus the line item.
okay.
So it doesn't make any, it is a wash between the income versus the expense, yes.
Okay.
So. That should take care of most of planning and zoning. There was no change but longevity for the motor vehicles. And that was your community project, that was Benoit and the soil that we moved out of 137.
Yeah.
Now, data processing, this is, I guess there was some confusion on data processing. BJ said that Colleen had said that he couldn't carry over on that capital commitment off of the lettuce funds, and I said, no, that's not what I understand. So anything that's been committed previously that they have not spent is still committed on that grant, the lettuce grant.
Mhm.
So is that the way you guys are understanding it? It's been approved by the BOCC, so to me it stands until they spend it.
That would be my understanding.
Mine as well. We're not past our deadline of expending the money.
No, oh no,
So,
no, yeah, exactly,
It's already approved. Why wouldn't it go forward?
exactly.
Right.
So, with that, BJ said he will be reducing that 211,000 off of that processing. That's about 30,000. He said that should be moved to the grant, but he was not sure how that went. And I said, well, BJ, as far as I'm concerned, I said it was approved by the BOCC. It goes forward until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure we're all clarified on that.
So some of the expenses have been paid out of the fund that need to be
No.
reimbursed. Oh,
This
no.
is for this next
This
year.
next- okay.
This next year, and he
Yeah.
put them in his budget, not realizing
Yeah.
that that grant will pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So he said he will be reducing that to about 30, is what he told me.
Okay.
Okay, so what we'll need to know is probably when it gets down towards the end before that we can allocate that 30,000 to something else if he's not gonna use it within.
Well, he put it in his budget because he was
He's gonna use it.
gonna use it,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, he was gonna use it, but then he was trying to get, of course, Holly went on vacation, so
Okay.
she was gone, so I said, well,
Well, in P and Z, they put in some capital. Was that for the purchase of their?
that's 75,000, we took it out.
Okay. I thought I seen a 4,000 something in the P and Z.
Capital,
Yeah.
and copier,
Because, yeah, there's this almost on the end of its life cycle. So I was wondering, is that what that 4364 do they put in for a copier?
yes, there's 2 pages for public works. Not public works.
P and Z.
Yeah. So you got new development.
Copier machine C.
Copy machine C invoice, $6,995 was decreased.
WTCF funds left over. They didn't spend. They wanted to use that towards it, and then
Oh, was that extra office supplies for the new position, and I can't remember what Dan said. Remember that?
That's
Remember what he said.
Yeah, that was some extra.
Yeah, new $1,200 for a new computer.
Yep.
$200 for my guess is a printer or equipment. And you can see that it says C copy machine invoice. And I had it. You guys gave me an increase of $6,995 from his budget. He had 30,482. That's professional services though.
Okay, yeah. That's, I know it had to do
the
with
copier is
something.
$69.95, $6,995. And it was,
We can
but then they had
probably
two
just
something
run
left
that
on lettuce
line.
funds.
We can just run that line, because I think it has to do with the usage. I just don't have it.
Okay, I can't remember either, but I know they need a new machine. It's they're in the busiest part of their season when it's not functioning. So they have 2,636 that they hadn't used in the funds awarded them from the
Grant.
grant.
So
So
it was
they,
$69.95 was the difference.
no, that would be taken off of the 69.95. Okay.
Must be about the public works. Is that what's next?
Yeah, you're in the public works. Now, on public works, there was a new line added, was 2 opening positions. 2 open positions.
Okay.
There was 40,000 that should be moved down to county projects, and that is for the sheds, I believe, on contract.
Correct.
My memory serves me right. And then we added city sales for 10,000, and that is an income versus an expense. They sell things to the cities, and they get the income versus the whatever. I don't know exactly what you're selling.
Usually it's mag chloride. The city of Pinehurst does not have a tank for storage,
Okay.
so they will come and fill up we will keep track of what we paid per gallon and then how much their usage is, and then we will bill the city at the end of the
Okay.
fiscal year.
So that's an income versus an expense. So, but we added the two line, it's a wash, but we added it so she has it in her
Okay.
budgets.
Okay.
And then she had a bridge match at 7.34 match, and that's 73,400. Now she also has a replacement truck, which was granted this year.
Mhm.
The funds are sitting in her checking account, but she doesn't get the physical pickup until the following year.
So I have to be budgeted.
So it has to be budgeted for because it rolls over in the cash.
Mhm.
And if she can't pay for it ahead of time because then we don't have the physical pickup for the audit.
Mhm.
So it just has to go over into the next year.
Okay.
So that's why that is, if there's any questions.
I understand that.
Okay. Actually, I got caught on that one time. Bought a pickup at the end of the year. I think it was sheriff's office at the time. And they didn't go down and get it for 2 days, but when the auditors came, it wasn't here.
Ah,
Yeah.
They said, no, you can't do that. Oh. Anyway, so
Okay.
we have put the Vivas back in and increased that from 14,000 to 16,750 because of the positions that have not been filled. Apparently Jessica was working on 2 positions prior to the year end here, and then she was like, yes, that's right. So,
My only objection is new hires, the title new hires. We have new hirers. That's just a small objection. Spelling,
okay,
not math, spelling.
okay.
Sassy pants.
So, yeah, really. That thing is it. I was gonna say, that's the way you guys wanted it.
It's H-I-R-E-R-S, hirers.
There's, you eat the South? So I think we're pretty squared with Public Works. We pinned down everything on bodies versus positions.
Okay.
The thing is, again, on any department ahead of time, they will give you guys what they're estimating who's going to make step and grade or who's going to do what throughout the year. That is not in our budget. That has to be looked at, approved, and we'll calculate it. The only thing we calculated, again, was the longevities. Because the departments have not given you guys throughout the years, since I left, every position that is calculated on a step and grade has to be given to you guys at budget time. And then you guys keep track when they come in to approve it or non-approve
that's
it.
how we know. That's what I kept asking. Like, how do we know
Exactly.
what's
What's
projected and if we're
if-
approving within what was
because
budgeted?
it has to be done by the BOCC to track it so that the payroll clerk has it also. So that you have 4 eyes on it at all times. Each department has to give that to you guys because that is how you track payroll and your benefit packages. And we sat with Public Works and we pretty well know her positions. But then if she has something that someone takes within her payroll system, she has to project it for that year. And then she has to stick to it. If the following year that person is taking on more, whatever, then they calculate it for the following year, that step and grade. But you're losing control of the step and grade of how each department's doing it.
Okay.
Does that help? Because right now, what we try to do is get into a step and grade system. departments within the courthouse even, because you got 5 systems
Mhm.
going on, and that payroll clerk doesn't have it. They come in and they say, you guys, we need a jailer. Was it in the budget from the previous year? We couldn't find it, because it hasn't been given to her. It hasn't been given to you guys. You guys have it in your budget books, in the front of your books. So when they come in and say, this position for the jail was here this year, and we're replacing this person, or is it a brand new position? Then it was budgeted for this brand new, you mark it off, so that you can keep track of what positions going on, because it's not being tracked. When I came back, that's what I'm seeing back there in that payroll. It's not being tracked. It's what they're telling her, but it should have been done ahead of time in the
Should be
budgeting.
budgeted for.
It should have been in the budgeting process. If they,
I see what you're saying.
so if they come in and say, okay, I'm hiring a guy for $50, per hour.
Mhm.
So he's at $50 an hour. They come in and say, well, this guy won't work for 50, he's going to be 55. Well, it's only in the budget and it's only in the benefits for 50. So where are you going to get that extra $5? It's got to come out of that B budget. And then they need to tell you where it's coming out of, what line items. Because otherwise you're losing control of what it's really costing you in payroll for a year.
We understand where it was budgeted and not,
Exactly.
so we're not getting ourselves in trouble. Proving.
Exactly.
But
Because
back
that's where there's a lot of problems in the departments, because I don't think they realized what we were doing when we were calculating bodies.
And I think some of them were calculating it right. Like I know Jessica and Stephanie have a sheet that they're tracking all of their, but whether or not it was, checked to make sure it was going into that blue sheet, I call it, correctly, I don't know, because I don't have anything to check that to.
For the following year, that, okay, we're gonna, these people are, instead of longevity, if they're gonna get a certificate or whatever else, that has to be projected into that next budget year.
Right.
So do the numbers that we're looking at right here include the steps and grades that were predicted?
She gave them to me, so I don't remember if those are the ones with all the merits or not. I would have to.
This one.
These are the ones you used on.
No,
that.
this is the ones with the 1%.
Right. So that's what I used for the paper. So the ones you used on the budget lines that you're looking at right now.
Did you give them the?
Yes, yeah, we have our spreadsheet projection, which lists all of the employees, all of the open
Yes, and I do
positions.
have that. I'll just have to check and see which numbers we popped in
If
here.
they are scheduled for any type of a grade bump, or if we're anticipating a road scholar, we would put that in, and that's what we've done in our budget process the last few years.
So we're not budgeting for it, but we're not tracking.
Right.
Okay, I just want to make sure we budgeted for the current system until we change the system. And we need to make sure we funded it.
So far, yes.
Yes, and I'm going to back check all of that and make sure that all those things have been put in there. And we've got a list of everything that I put in.
She's been working with the payroll people.
Yeah, and Lori was kind of helping me
I'm not
back
as
check my
efficient as what
numbers
she
to
has
make
been.
sure that I was, using the right payroll numbers. So she was back checking that for me on Friday so that I can make sure it's where
But
it's at and have a list for you.
That has been consistently a problem, what I've seen since I've been back, because you don't have a handle on what's going on within each department, on their step and grades, so to speak, or rank and file, whatever you want to call it.
So it's gotta be controlled at the payroll side of the.
Well,
I mean, they have to match with the,
when you go into a budget, you want to match, and it is a projection. There's going to be circumstances sometimes that you're going to have to change your minds on, but then it comes to the board the board has a copy of all the wages that's going on within each department. They can check it off. They can say, well, it's in the A budget, but now we need to take it away from the B budget. Like I said, if it was $5 difference, where are you taking the differences? It has to balance, and that's what's hasn't been going on.
Okay.
It just had, they're not taking it. They could continue to bring it in their salaries and making them higher, but they're not reducing that B budget in order to balance that budget. So then you get into a hole. That's where your negatives come in. That's where all those negatives are coming in some of the departments.
Okay.
So your liability insurance and self-insurance, we took 75,000 out from self-insurance and brought it over to liability insurance so that there is a carryover into your,
Yeah, I remember that.
and public health, it was the 105 plus the solid waste. So that was correct.
Did we
If I
adjust
did-
the solid waste portion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Junior college, we reduced it to 40 grand. And juvenile probations, there wasn't, the grant salary line items have been added for Mike and Christie off of the eyelid. And I'm not sure if you commissioners are, that needs to be looked at, what you're gonna give them, or if you're gonna give them salary for that. They get like 13,000 off
Are you on
that
6-2?
grant. Yes,
Did we skip 6-1 district court?
and there wasn't much.
Oh.
I'm on 6-2 because of that. There wasn't any changes on the 6-1.
Okay.
Yeah, that was longevity, witness copy. Okay. But this is a decision is why I'm bringing this one up.
Okay.
The other ones were just changes.
Okay.
But this is a decision. That needs to be, okay.
Yeah.
This, because Mike Smith is sitting on that eyelid grant,
Mm-hmm.
the income of the $13,000 is going into district court. The prosecutors is going into their wages, and it's not into district court. It's just going into funding district court, so to speak, or his line items. So I'm not sure if you guys wanted to address that. On his other grant, Mike gets 6,000 for that grant. If the grant goes away, he loses that 6,000. This would be the same way on this eyelid grant. Christy and him both work on it.
Mhm.
Do you want them to have anything as a salary or not?
So you're saying this would be a new line item?
This would be a new line item. If he gets salary for it, the work.
And right now, the money's just going to fund.
It's just going into county, it's going into district court general. It's, as an income account. It's funding everything.
So you're saying basically the same thing we're doing with the prosecutor?
No, you're not. The prosecutor is going into salaries, into
Yeah.
their extra salaries.
The extra salaries.
Extra
And this
salaries.
one we're asking to go into,
His extra salary. Start an extra salary for Mike.
start an extra salary from just
Is that the-
prosecutor's office.
Right.
Is that the 40317?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
403, too. So I'm not sure how you want to do it, if you want to do it. That's a decision that you three need to make.
So that's from his coordinator for the drug court stuff.
Oh.
So that's different.
Okay.
Well, you did. And
He shook his head yes.
Yeah, he shook his head yes. He shook his head yes, yeah, because we were all in here, but the difference is, do you want me to accrue that 13,000 and split it between him and Chrissy because they are doing the work? Or, and take the burden rate out of it, out of the whole amount, his burden rate and everything, divide it up that way? Or do you want? I don't know how you guys really
And
want.
this would be if it didn't happen, then it would
Just
fall off and they wouldn't get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yes,
So it
it
wouldn't
is
be- it
its
wouldn't
own
be-
line item.
it
So
wouldn't be
yes,
the
I would
extra
figure
work.
the burden rate with and take that into the 13,000. And
Yeah. I don't see why we wouldn't do that.
well, it's not my choice.
Okay.
That is your 3. Are you following?
And then
Mhm.
you would create a separate line item.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a good idea.
And then figure out what his burden rate would be, Social Security and all that, and then whatever difference.
No,
it
this would be over and above what they're getting paid now.
Yes.
Because I guess the theory is with the grant, they have extra work to do,
Mhm.
so they're getting compensated for the extra work.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we keep it
If the
separate.
grant goes away, they lose the extra work, and they lose the income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the,
Is that what you're thinking?
yes, same way with.
And the prosecutors, they have their own line item for that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we
it's our.
just made that up this year.
My battery's dying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have another one.
But yes, they have their own line item and they are receiving salaries off of it.
What do you think? You said you think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Otherwise it drops off and they don't benefit from it.
It drops off.
And we're keeping it separate from their wages so they know when that's gone. It's not a pay raise. It's just additional pay for the work they've done on the grant.
I just look at, I know that it looks like it would be a fair deal, but also setting precedents or with
You had
other
said,
people
you
that
already
work
said
on
it in the
grants.
prosecutor's office already. That's
Yeah.
why.
Because he was doing well, yeah.
I think I'm okay with it.
That's what's been happening, Jeff.
Yeah, we did it for the prosecutor.
You've done it for the prosecutor all along. That's with the stop grant as well as the eyelid grant. So,
And this would be the island grant that they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then would you change 040317 to say something more specific than grant, or would you?
well, I
include
would identify eyelid grant wages.
this? 'Cause that's a different
Salary.
grant right there.
That's his drug coordinating.
That's his drug.
It's drug
From
court.
the-
Yeah.
drug
From
court.
the
So
state.
we should just add one in there.
Yeah.
Additional to what was there.
Okay. I hear Tracy is saying go ahead.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. If it's the island grant, this is not an action item, this is just a,
It's just that you are all three agreeing that I put it in the
yeah.
budget. That's, you're not approving it at this point. You're agreeing to put it in the budget.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. And really, there wasn't any changes in 6-1 other than the copier maintenance.
Okay.
And then the witness fee, we took out, we decreased it, and we took out the binders. That was $1,000.
Okay.
So there wasn't, I took out 1,000 and increased that security by $950. It was $100 difference.
Okay.
There really wasn't anything in that.
I was just trying to follow along, make sure I didn't skip
Yeah,
something.
I get it.
62, 63.
Nothing on probation services 3. And I think what we'll do, if you don't mind, we'll do the safety last, the justice fund last. Because I think that's more complicated. If that's agreeable.
That's fine.
Okay, appraisers had a decrease on 535 for 500. That was, well, that's 20. 37, which is snowmobile, that was an increase of $200 for 449. And the only thing increased on waterways and snowmobile was your mid cost, admin. Historical changes, there's not any changes. Parks, there was no changes. Fish hatchery, no changes. And everything has been funded, Dave, with carryover cost of all these, just so you know. We got everything funded that way.
So we don't really know what snowmobile's gonna be this year because Idaho State is collecting those and they're probably gonna administer.
Well, exactly.
Well, yeah,
We really don't know.
and it depends on our season each year too.
Afternoon.
It's what?
Depends on our season.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we getting snow,
Well,
weather.
and the thing is, on your snowmobile, you've got a good cash base in that,
Yeah,
so you're good there.
okay.
But we're not burning our cash down? We're not spending more cash than we're taking in on those?
No.
Okay. That's the part that I have a hard time understanding. If we're
No, I've got,
not spending more than we're bringing in.
no, you're not. You got your weed, you got your carryover, but that, a snowmobile is a little bit different because it's kind of like, you sell the tabs and everything, and that continues to increase. It seems like there's an awful lot of income in there. And they only had that one year that they seemed to have some breakdowns that went over budget, but they had the cash sitting in that budget, so it was real easy to open it
We
up.
should have opened the budget.
You open it up and pay for it with cash, and then it goes away, is how that works. And your air, weeds, there was, Carol had sent in, I had put 5,000 in and I went back through and changed it on, you're estimated on the roads, the airport and solid waste and county properties, which would have been 18. That's spraying the weeds. And we made a new line item and we've got sprayer contract on it.
For all the county properties that aren't a particular department, like roads or solid waste.
Yes, and
There's
we
a-
had Murray Shop 800, Snellville Shop 336. This is what her estimates were. Osborne Shop was 1,664. Marble Creek Shop was 592. Airport was 3,040, and the transfer station was 1,080. And that was given to the,
That was the one she was just reading off.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
your,
it was a week, yeah.
that, do you see that one? That was your guys'
Yeah.
memo to me. Okay.
I think I CC'd you guys.
No, it's-
And you increased your revenue for the helicopters on the airport, 5,000. And, we added administrative cost on that. That's about it.
Okay.
And we contract for 3,040.
We haven't got to yours yet. We saved you for last.
Oh, good. So we got pull-ups.
In a good way or a bad way?
Right in between,
Oh,
good and bad.
okay.
So we need figures for your county general on civil cases. The projection.
Looking for county general.
Okay. Well, I don't have any figures in there because I don't know them. I don't know.
Oh,
I know
We normally don't have.
you've got that one case.
Yeah, and I got an email back from the prosecutor, and he wanted me to ask, the clerk in Hawaii, who's there. I mean, I emailed him back and said he's there, so. Because the Whitey clerk has the same thing going on with the road issue. That
Oh.
They're using a outside firm to help them on the decision, so. Yeah, I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah,
He
so,
needs to, well, we need to have some type of.
yeah,
Some
for
kind of
county general
projection.
though, I need at least some type of projection of what to go into the county for civil action.
Yeah. I will get a hold. Was he back this week already?
Yes, I believe so. I haven't talked to him, but I think he is. He hasn't answered any of my emails yet.
Okay. Yeah, this is for like, what's going on in Pine Creek.
Right.
The attorney.
What did we do last year on that?
Came out of his.
Came out of his, because,
But it was 60,000, right?
so I'm not sure,
Or more.
it was 21, 25, yeah. So you're kind of bobbing and
When we
weaving.
had
'Cause
Silver Mountain, we created a whole different separate fund. That was a huge, that's not so. We need the civil line.
Should we put something in there as a placeholder?
Anything, any amount. I reduced your 90 grand out of there and put 5. So,
Let's put in, what do you think, about 70 or 80? Problem is we have another one coming up
that's going to be outside the
Yeah,
prosecutors.
but I think the prosecutor's doing that. I don't think
he's doing it for now, you know what I'm saying, until, well, no, we may be getting paid through is the insurance picking that up? I can't remember. Okay. Yeah, we'll need to, I don't know if we have any other,
I'd say we should at least put 40 in there for to start, 40 or 50. What do you
We
think?
need a placeholder, yeah.
50?
50?
Yeah, I would knew that one. That one was a big one. Because that will change your levy rates. Okay. Prosecutor.
What was the levy rate on?
Well, it's gonna change your levy rates somewhat.
Okay. But then we just take off the 90?
I did, but we increased some other stuff too, so
Okay.
I don't know where we're gonna be right at this point. That helps with the 50, because
Yeah.
that's a big number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for justice
Yeah,
fund?
pretty much. I need to know where you guys are going with our justice fund.
Well, I'm inclined to,
Because my estimation at the end of this year, we're gonna be about 359,000 short. out of the justice fund with the current expenses approved at this point.
And the income that they're showing.
And with the income, and I have increased their board of prisoners at about 40,000 yet to collect per month, because that's what they've
Did
been,
that drop down to the 350?
that dropped it down to the 359.
Okay.
But you have a cash position in your public defense. So are you gonna swing that over to pick up that or not? I'm not sure.
That's what I'd like to do.
I was looking at utilizing that to help offset the sheriff's, and looking at the admin
Now,
costs.
now will that, will that be a viable income source for the next year, or is that just a cash position only?
Right now, this is where we are in cash. I mean, you have other options, but let's focus on the cash at this point.
This is a one-time.
This is just a
Solution.
one-time solution.
Because public defenders go away.
Okay.
And they have accrued with what the state, and of course, Tracy's been dealing with public defenders.
Yeah.
We've got one more quarter, don't we?
October, the state takes over.
So,
So I would be inclined to take it from the public defense.
it's in the same fund, so we're not,
Yeah, we're not.
it's the same cash position, but that's where I need to know what you guys are planning on doing.
And where were we at on that public defense cash?
Yeah, this was the sheet I gave you guys last week.
Yeah,
So that's a one-time only that, okay.
It buys us a year to think about how to up their revenues or trim their costs.
It takes them out of the hole, but you don't have much carryover there.
No.
Takes them out of the hole this year.
can we reduce the admin costs or since it's up to us to adjust or waive that to help offset so we don't lose our carryover?
That would start to work on the permanent problem if we reduce the admin costs.
Well, you reduce the admin cost, now you're going to take away in the income from the current expense. Just so that you guys understand that.
One pocket to the other.
Mhm.
But we have room, we can levy in current expense, and we can't levy.
You don't have any
more.
room in current expense either, but you can use your cash, because you got your cash sitting there.
Then we're using cash faster than we're replacing it. This is a terrible game.
I know,
It's over here, it's over here.
I know.
Well, I
Okay,
think
so that wouldn't break any levies or anything like that, we could use that, right?
Your cash.
I mean,
if we use the public defense.
Well, this is actual cash in public defense for this year,
okay, and
yes.
that's done. I just wanna-
Yeah, you have 396,000, or 359,000 short.
Okay.
And we're not through with year end yet, but
Now, is that including the new jailers after post, does that include those, that increase in pay?
Yes, I put all
well,
of that.
that's your new budget. This is, I'm talking old budget. I'm
Right.
talking this year's budget now, not new budget yet.
Okay,
Yeah, she's talking about
I'm talking
where you're at.
where
Right.
you're at right to date with this year's budget in cash position.
so we're under 359 as of today.
Well, you will be at year end, it's projected, but yes.
So I'm proposing we use some of the cash from the public defender to cover that.
I agree.
And that would just cover it for this year. So now we gotta look at next year. And And what are we off next year with everything if we figure that out?
Well, this is your guys' options.
Okay.
You're at your levies now. This is where you three need to discuss what you're gonna do with the levy rates. Because you can do additional, what the prosecutors public defenders have taken to the taxpayers and swing that over into the Shoshone County Sheriff's Office. But that's your guys' decision. You direct me. But you have to realize now, they don't have any carryover. It's sitting here. They will not have any carryover, much of it, even though you're using public defense money. You're not going to have much carryover there.
How much public defense money did we have?
Approximately 396,000,
306.
and so you got,
50.
40, what, 9.
So the levy, you're talking about the levy could be basically moved. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, again, when you have to look at what you're doing, Idaho Code, when they took public defense into the state of Idaho's budget, that when they passed that was to help the taxpayers of each county. So if you leave that levy as high as it was last year on the L2, you're not helping that taxpayer at all. It's all going into collections and for cash for your justice fund.
But if we shift that over to the justice fund, we wouldn't have to, what would we look like on breaking a levy for the following year?
Well,
So, I'm looking at, okay, we got taxes, the public's already getting taxed right now, and I don't want to tax them more. So if we shifted that over, that would be the same as, it wouldn't be another burden on the public.
well,
Because it doesn't change their
it's not going to change your taxes.
Yeah.
But
That's what I,
can you fund it all? That's where, because of all the proposals of the wages again this year, I'm not sure you can fund it all.
can we look at it to see if we did shift that over?
And are you going in with are you going to go in with any type of COLA because this would affect your total levy
Right.
rates. Your total levy
That's
rates.
the answers we need too, so I know exactly what I'm popping in for all that part.
Because this is going to affect your whole total off of your levy rates. This affects every one of them. So you want to come down to what you were last year. And are you going to do any type of COLAs? Are you going to, we had proposed bringing everyone back into a step and grade from this side of the county. So you would have the sheriff's office, solid waste, and public works sitting on their own wage scales, but bringing everyone else back into that step and grade. And that proposal would cost the county $69,000.
And that would be catching these guys up that didn't get the raises of the rest, and that would be.
So that is just putting them all back into a step and grade with their longevities.
And how much is it? 69.
69,000. Which they didn't get any COLAs prior. And it was 145,000. Getting them up where the other grades are. So then all you're about even.
Well, first, I think I've got 3 balls bouncing.
You
in my
do.
head now.
At least.
I can only bounce one. And really,
That's why we
Double
need to
triple.
dissect this.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you're definitely using the cash on public defenders.
off to bring the sheriff back.
back into the black.
And that's just for this fiscal year.
That's for this fiscal year and this fiscal year only.
We're all okay with that, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
That's a done deal.
that's a done deal.
Well, we basically have to, we budgeted for it, and it's gotta be funded for last year.
Okay. So next year, do we have the option of taking the public defender that levy and keeping it in the justice fund to help fund the sheriff's department?
Yes,
Okay.
But would it fund it? I mean, that's what I'm looking at. We'd have to look at that, right?
Right.
because we still have to look at the wages
Mhm.
and the
Yeah, just to see what it would
projection
do.
off
Yeah.
their income, what
And
their
then we
step
have
and
to
grade would
figure
be.
out how it works into, because I do believe we need to, I'm looking at, bringing the employees that were left out, all this thing to make sure that we bring that up as well.
That's what that step and grade
Yeah.
Yes,
Right, to bring,
for adjusting that so that everyone's back into where
would
they were.
adjust that, and, that would mean some raises and some not. Some people are already in that. That would just even everybody
Which is,
that's far behind at this point.
what's on a liability, I think we need to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
that's 69,000 for sure. And then you want to have this 3-year play, kind of play with this a little bit on the 140. But again, a lot of this is going to be current expense.
So it's gonna take away from current expense and
Well, again, you're going to be using your cash, and you're losing the 222 there. So you're losing cash. So keep that in mind. You're not going to get away. And I pretty well maxed out my levy rates for the same as it was last year in your current expense.
3%.
Well, the 433,000 for taxpayers. I kept that levy rate the same as last year's, and I kept actually the justice fund rate the same. And then I came up with that 0.224.
so what would the percentage of cash be if the justice fund got at 3%? I'm just looking at it as if taxes were raised, it wouldn't bring.
Well, you can't raise that levy any more than what it was because it's already been maxed out
Oh, it's
from
not.
last year.
Okay.
Oh, you bet.
So we won't be.
You're not gonna be able to raise that justice fund anymore because you're at, it's 0.002 and you're already at 0.0019 or 17, sorry.
Okay.
So you're not gonna be able to raise that levy much more.
Okay, but I'm misunderstanding you. I thought we could go 3% in a year if we had to
That's on total.
on total.
That's, and it's spread through the departments. It's not each fund.
We're surpassing my Kellogg High School math skills now.
So your levy rates right now, where I have them, I've got current expense, it's 0.002 and I'm at 0.0019.
This is current expense.
I could go up in district court, but I don't need to. Liability, I don't need to. In fact, I went down on some of these so that we could pick up. Parks is pretty close to being the same. Justice Fund, I left the same. Appraisals, I picked up a little bit off of the appraisers because of that carryover that we needed. So, but I made up for it within the other departments. So, what I've got my answer here regarding your cash. With current expense, you're going to make sure you understand you're using cash now in order to bring everyone up into that,
We're using 69,000 in cash.
basically.
And when you say using cash,
Well-
that means we're using it faster than we're replenishing.
No, actually, I picked up in administrative cost up to 40-some thousand for you guys, because I charged ambulance services 30,000 to help pick this up. If I'm going to do the work, then it comes into county general, and then it helps pick this up, and that would be ongoing. That's a confirmed number regarding administrative costs to them. They agreed to it unless something happens down the future, you might have, but your values by that time would go up. But that's where I brought your money in for that. So you're only short about 27,000 of actual cash.
What are we going to do about the justice fund not funding for next year? So do we have any projection of how much over they would be with the current budget that we're looking at?
Well, we can have it to you by this afternoon.
With putting in the, shifting over the, public.
Yeah.
Shifting that levy over.
Right.
So we would shift that public defender levy over and we keep it in the justice fund.
Mhm.
And we need to do this, resolution and everything so that it, if
Well-
we get this done so that it covers the justice fund that.
Because see, in the justice fund, the only resolution I found regarding their pay wages were done, and the only income they have to make those wages was the contracts. Had nothing to do with PILT money, revenue, anything. That's the only resolution that was ever found.
And then you're talking that there was not a resolution to do the justice fund itself.
Right. Which would have been discussed and covered with the wages. See, again, it was not done correctly from the previous board. And so we're trying to clean this up.
And that's what I'm saying, is if we get this cleaned up, we can go forward with.
So I guess my question is, if we've already said, yes, they can have the cash this year. If we give them next year's public defender levy, how much does that leave us to find?
And that's what they said they can have.
Right, we'll have
later
to
on.
see where our,
Because they
Exact
had a lot of
numbers are-
different grades too.
which
that
I have,
Yeah,
so we
which
just need to
will-
make sure what we got popped in there,
popped in this
and-
correctly.
verify.
Now, we will
That's
go
a-
high in the paper. I think that we were at 17,953. We're gonna go in like
18 something, yeah.
and which that way you guys have some room to play with. So we,
Not much room.
well, you do. That's a lot.
And especially if they don't.
Because we
pass
have
bill
a
next year.
lot of them tied down. The only one you don't really have, the only two levies you don't really have tied down is your current expense and justice. Because of we need to tie the prosecutors down, and we need to tie their step and grade, and then everything else they're pretty well tied down with the carryover, the 25% carryover, which is required by the 4 months. And again, the carryover is because you have October, November, December, and January is when you get funded again from the taxes.
And that's one of the things we can do is with the admin fee is by looking at the admin fee, if have to carry over, I mean, that would be.
You can accrue it back
That's
and then
right.
take it at a
And
later
that's where I
date
think the
with the
admin
cash.
fee is golden in a lot of this so that we can help. So we'll just have to see how it all works.
Okay. So how much time would you need to, I mean, we can recess and come back.
Right.
I don't think it'll take very long. I have all of the bumps and all that stuff that they have for people
we wanna
possibly
make sure
going to
we got 'em
post and
all.
all
And
that
we
kind of
have
stuff,
until,
so.
the budget, we're not approving the budget today.
No, you're not
No,
approving
we're
it.
just-
No.
Nothing.
I just
Still
needed
reviewing.
projections and where you guys were
September.
going with several of these
Yeah,
items
just
because
Mhm.
I wasn't sure where you were going or what you were thinking regarding the cash. I mean, because if I got something that is not my job to,
We're not finalizing anything until
No.
after September.
And there wasn't any differences as far as B budget and all that kind of stuff,
No,
right?
there
This is
wasn't.
just talk.
right,
All right, so do we want to come back today and hear the rest of this? I do.
Yeah, if you want to, I don't have.
Okay. Do you want an hour? Do you want 2 hours? What would work for you?
I would say an hour's probably good.
Come back at
we
1:30?
want to make sure we get the numbers. See, I was gone Friday, so I don't know what she's got done.
Okay.
She was doing the payroll for me.
Let's do 2:00 because I have to change the agenda too.
2 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to recess until 2 o'clock. And then we'll continue this discussion on Justice Fund and any other questions to make sure. Is there anything else that we need to be thinking about that you need direction on?
Well, those were my main things because I didn't know which way you were going.
Right, we needed to have this meeting to do
To say you're using cash.
To finish up this year.
Yeah. Pretty colors.
that. Pretty.
That's kind of where you are on your ambulance.
So we're looking good, but what about the, they got 3 vehicles that they're purchasing, so.
Yes,
There-
and I did get some information for you on that, but I
Oh.
haven't been able to
Oh.
relay so far this
Oh,
morning.
okay, I'm
I've
sorry.
been-
I only
You're in
had.
the middle of it.
Have been
because
out,
These guys are.
But I do have that,
Oh, okay. I had.
and it
one
is
that-
going to be 3.
Okay, that they collect. Okay, I was
Yeah,
not aware of
because
that.
they were purchased last year and
I know.
they should have been here this year.
Right, and then there are
2 years
2
ago.
more that will be purchased in, so there'll be 3 total for this next.
That they will
And you've already-
receive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And they've already.
That's
We've
the
already
difference,
got-
that they will receive.
And some of
not
that money you've
purchasing
already
now,
gotten.
but They've been
Okay. See,
Yes.
I would, sorry.
back
Yep.
ordered.
Yep. Nope. I didn't even think about that on my way out this morning when you pulled that up. So yes, I do have that information
Okay,
for
sorry. So give me my pretty colors back.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at it, oh, well, that's not that good.
you. Yeah.
But it's better.
Huh? Oh, yeah, we're not in bad shape on this one.
We'll get them their new fee schedule
Done.
taken care of, yes.
Okay.
We're getting it.
Well, I based their fee schedule on the last 2 years.
Yeah, so it'll go up.
And I know it's going up, but I didn't want to overestimate the revenue. So I just took what
We've
they
done enough in this. county.
Yes, it's been done. But the thing is, there was, never any money taken.
No.
No, and it was never as bad as what
Yeah, we thought.
was thought. It was still, from all of us, was 300 and some thousand. So,
But where would
But
it
we
be if
still
we
gotta
hadn't
bring
made
back
all
in-
last year's bits? And-
So when is that gonna be let out to the public, our new findings? Because people are asking still
what,
on our new outside discovery.
It's on there. It's on the.
Yeah, but we need to let people know it's on there, because I get asked all the time,
Well-
when are you guys gonna get that done? I said, it's
Oh,
on the
that-
Basically,
website.
They found the same as what.
we all did.
they
It
Oh, the
was all
outside
good.
audit?
It wasn't the.
Is on the website or it needs to be? on
It
the
is
website?
under the clerks, but people out there don't know it's there yet, so when you run across people, they're still asking.
I
We
see.
need to ask them to direct them to where it's out, you can go here and look.
And it's also our audit from last year too ties into that from Tony. So
Yeah.
Right.
we found